distracted, a little bit worried, so I'm going to work with this round pinning a little bit, just kind of getting him moving, but also getting his focus on me, establishing leadership.
So we dropped him off Friday. So that's what I was going to ask you. So this is day 2 for him.
This is day 2, and day 2 is pretty much going to be a repeat of yesterday, day 1. We let him settle in over the weekend. I wanted to start with him today where we can get some good video kind of from the beginning. So the main thing I'm looking for here is for him to move. I'm looking for him to look at me like that right there, kind of when he starts to look at me and say, what can I do for you? I'll just kind of reward that, and I'll say that's it. I'll step out there and I'll release and reward and let him know that that's what I'm looking for. And to me, that's really the basic idea of round penning is you can go around this round pen and avoid me, look over the fence, look for other horses, look for another partner, all you want to, or be fearful of me or whatever. But you're not going to get any relief. You're free to do that as long as you want to. But as soon as you look at me and say, hey, what do you want? Then I release and reward and let the horse know that's it. To become that for our horse. We want to become what our horse is looking for, especially in stressful times and situations where the horse might be a little bit overstimulated. We want that horse to look to us in those times. So it's the same thing here. I want to go ahead and establish that really solid with my horse. When you feel the need to move, look to me for leadership, come and be with me and get all your rest and reward. I'm not going to really go to him right now. I'm just going to kind of wander around. I like to walk these kind of semicircles or these arcs around him. And what I do, every time I turn towards him, I put a little bit of pressure kind of towards his butt. And every time I do that, he has a choice to leave again, or to do what he just did, which is kind of yield his hindquarters and face me and continue to say, what do you want? I wanted to get him really solid. See, right here, I'll put a little pressure. If he leaves, that's fine. That's an opportunity for him to learn that maybe he shouldn't have done that. He should have stayed with me. But I won't make a big deal out of it. I'll just say, if you want to move, you can move. And a lot of these horses don't have been restrained a lot of their lives and don't really realize that movement is an option. And they kind of get a little worried, a little bit internal with things. And they just kind of learn how to deal with things. If they can make a mistake every now and then, they learn to not make the mistake. Like that right there, that was great. I went all the way through that fence and he kept his focus on me. And there he's lowering his head. I'll reward that too. I want these horses to learn. As long as your mind is on me, as long as you're participating with me, then life is easy. Before we go to the halter, what I'm going to do is just pretend like I have a halter on. So I'm going to pull his eye, push his hip with nothing on him. If he stays with me, then great. There again, he had the opportunity to leave. I'll do the same thing on this side. Kind of let him heel the hindquarters on the ground. And if he'll stay with me, great. But now, if I go towards that hindquarters and that horse was to leave, he's going to hit the end of the halter. And I'm going to pull out him and say, hey, I suggest you come back to class. If he does, life is good. If he doesn't, then we'll do some groundwork on the halter. So it's going to maintain that same concept of you're free to go anytime you want to, but now I've got a little bit more control. I can do more direction changes. I can bump on that halter. I can drive a little bit more. So the halter is a line of communication that we use. It's not necessarily a device or a tool for more control as much as it is just a way to help us clearly communicate what it is we want. So before I go to working him too much, I'm going to test him a little bit again here. So I'll start out with a little bit of desensitizing. I think he had some of this yesterday, so he should be okay. You know, here he's relaxed. He's got that hind leg cocked, but he does tend to keep his head up a little bit and kind of turned away, and if you can see just a little bit of a worried look in his eye. So that's something that you know, I'm not going to be picky about right now. I just basically worry about his basic behaviors. If you leave, there's work. If you stay and relax and think, there's reward, and we'll let that worriedness kind of melt away. It should. So like right there, he stayed kind of the same, but I heard a big exhale, so I just back off right there and let him know that that's what I'm looking for. Especially in these first couple lessons, it's all about the concept. I want the horse to get the idea that if I stay connected, if I think about him, and if I give to pressure and I yield to pressure, then that gets a reward. And we build on that concept every day and get that concept more solid and better and better and better every day. So as much as we want perfection, really all we can ever hope for is better. If we get better every day, every time we work with our horse, then hopefully one day we'll get to perfection. He's doing a good job of controlling his emotions, which is a good thing, but the fact that he's exhibiting those moments of unsureness, those moments of worry and fret, let us know that in a more confined space, in a more stimulating situation, he's not going to be able to control his emotions, and it's going to go down through to his feet. So we want to teach our horses to control their emotions, but ideally, we want to learn to control their emotions. We want him to learn to crave that emotion of barn time, grinder, farrier. So what I'll do here is I'll actually turn this up a little bit, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of swinging my bag, but you see how there, once the volume comes up a little bit and the pressure comes up a little bit, and he has a little bit harder time standing there and kind of dealing with it, and he kind of tenses up a little bit. Yeah, I like that there. That was pretty quick. We did this a little bit with him yesterday, so he should be pretty quick to get it. But notice how when I started that, when he heard that noise, he's like, "Oh, I got to move." He moved really only about a quarter of a circle, and then he still stood there pretty tense, but then he gave me that, he turned and he looked at me like, "What are you doing?" So I rewarded that thinking in my direction, that relaxation, that bending of that head and neck. Instead of him being stiff and standoffish, he said, "What do you want?" I took that pressure away. And so I want him to learn that, here again, you can get scared and move if you want to. You can drag me around the round pen if you want to, but I'm just standing here waving my bag. If you choose to tense up and move your feet, that's perfectly fine, but that's not going to do anything for you. And when you stop and relax, then that's when the pressure's going away. My job is just to make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult, and reward correct behaviors and make the incorrect behaviors a little bit uncomfortable. Use them to my advantage. So we'll kind of change things up a little bit here, go to something different. Good boy. This noise, this moving, this stimulus, if you will, going on around him has always been something that he was uncomfortable with, but had dealt with, had learned to just kind of internalize, had learned to ignore, but he's never really learned to like it. You know, I want my horses to learn to like it. I don't want them to say, "Bring on the 6 guns, stick a leaf blower up my butt, put all the grandkids on me," whatever. You know, I want them to, anything, just don't make me work. You know, we want them to like it. But with that, if we ask them to work, we want them to be willing to go to it and get nice, willing response. If I ask you to do something, "Yes, sir," is the answer I want to get. But if I don't ask you to do anything, "Thank God," is the answer I want you to give me. Yesterday, when we finished, he was soaking wet, he was sweaty. You know, I had to hose him off. He had a hard time making a connection with me today, even though we haven't done a lot, he's relaxed. I mean, a lot of it wasn't perfect, but it was a big improvement, and I feel like he's telling me, okay, starting to figure you out, fella. And that's what we want. I want him to know that as long as you're figuring me out and what my expectations are, and getting more confident in that, then it's going to be easy. You're not going to sweat. It's not going to be a miserable day, so yeah, I'd leave him alone right there for today.
Perfect.
And just let that. Yesterday we had kind of a tough day. Today was an easy day. That's great. Yesterday was tough because he was real defensive, kind of internally defensive, and wanted to avoid and pull on the halter and things like that. Today was an easy day because he didn't do those things. He stayed soft. He stayed with me. He was quick to join up with me. He was quick to think about the responses that he was given before he reacted and gave them. So easy day, great. That's what I want my horses to learn.
Perfect.